So I've been posting thoughts on my blog constantly. I've been talking about like some going more in depth on what I think about some things. Like most prominently, I did an in-depth discussion on The Last of Us Part 2 and that sort of debacle with game journalists. I was able to go into like in-depth talking about the conspiracy, the game journalists, and how corrupt they are. Hashtag Gamergate. I've seen firsthand how people will try and discredit you, discredit what you're saying. Of course, like I have the Reddit threads. People posted Reddit articles about it, and I saw people desperately try to write me off. The same way they do on YouTube, really. Calling me a Nintendo fanboy, making up excuses for Sony, Naughty Dog, The Last of Us Part 2, doing all this stuff. But again, it's not really worth responding to. Like, it's just like with my YouTube channel. Like, I just gotta keep going and doing what I'm doing. But one of the things I keep seeing come back, to the point where, like, I think it must be the same person. I mentioned in my article that Bioshock was complete trash. Like, the original Bioshock is one of the most overrated games of all time, and I stand by that. I really, really detest Bioshock and everything to do with it. It's one of the most overrated games of all time. And I specifically came out and said that, like, there were a number of better Nintendo FPS titles out there. I think I said, like, GoldenEye, Metroid Prime, and Geist, a somewhat obscure first-person title from the GameCube era. I don't remember who developed it. It was a Western-developed game. Like, you're a ghost going around, like, possessing dogs and shit. Like, it's a first-person shooter where you play as a ghost that can possess soldiers. So, like, you end up fighting people by possessing shit. It's absolutely rad as fuck. I love Geist. And my point was that Geist was way, way more interesting and way, way more fun to play than Bioshock was. And this guy got all salty about it. Bioshock ain't shit. Like, I don't really know how else to say this in a way I haven't said before, but Bioshock is absolutely trash. Bioshock has absolutely nothing going for it other than the praise that the game journalists slathered onto it. Like, it really is the 2007 equivalent of The Last of Us Part 2. It was the game that gave these game journalists the tools they need to start talking about politics and gaming. Like, this is literally it. This is why people suddenly became comfortable with talking about how Resident Evil 5 was racist, how you're a misogynist, how gamers are misogynistic, how we hate female characters in games. Like, it complete ridiculous bullshit. You know what I mean? That nobody actually took seriously, and yet here we are now with these same people hyping up this universally reviled piece of shit, The Last of Us Part 2. It's all because of Bioshock. It's all because you allowed PlayStation and Xbox to come onto Nintendo's territory, start making these consoles that don't need to exist, and start marketing them and start paying these people to hype them up. Like, I don't understand why people keep dodging this specific point. Why do you continue to support these third parties? Why do you defend them? Why are you so upset at my opinion or my assertion that Geist is better than Bioshock? Like, oh, because Geist is Nintendo exclusive, that makes me a fanboy just because I talk openly about preferring Nintendo. That makes me bad. Oh, but it's perfectly okay to say PlayStation is better than Nintendo, right? Like, I don't see people questioning a lot of people. I don't see a lot of people questioning Square's decision to go with PlayStation. Like, people don't understand the shady nature of that deal, right? Like, I don't see people demand. It's ridiculous. Like the links people will go to defend Xbox, PlayStation, PC, but you're not allowed to prefer a Nintendo game in any context. It's laughable. It is completely laughable. Bioshock is on Nintendo consoles right now. By the way, it has been ported to Nintendo Switch. So I am saying this about a game that I know is available on Nintendo platforms. Bioshock is pure trash.